welcome back to Art with Anna. Today we are talking about a Russian artist named Marc Chagall. He is a modern painter and he is from Russia. He's also a Jewish man, and he did die, I believe, in the 1970s, or I think 1970s, maybe early 80s, at the age of 97. So he lived a very full life. Although he is from Russia, he spent a lot of his life in France. That's where he felt the most inspiration as a painter, since France was a very big art scene. He moved there before World War I, but then left and was unable to return until after World War I. When he returned, he noticed that all of his paintings that he left there were gone. And this really upset him, and he ended up making replicas of all of them because he didn't want his personal history to be lost to the war. He stayed there and married, and because he was married and so in love with his wife, whose name was Bella, he's actually known for being the painter of love. He painted quite a few images. Because he didn't want his personal history to be lost to the war. He stayed there and married, and because he was married and so in love with his wife, whose name was Bella, he's actually known for being the painter of love. He painted quite a few images of her, and people thought that he painted love the best. That love is an emotion that's hard to get on paper, but the way that he painted his wife was a clear indicator of how much he loved her, and the love could be felt through the paintings, which is very, very sweet. Something else to note about him is he was in France at the beginning of World War II, and he was a Jewish man. So the Nazis were becoming more and more prevalent in Europe and were kind of spreading to France. So an American journalist came and told Marc Chagall that he and his wife could come to America. An art museum there would help fund his stay in the United States. So he did that for a while, and then after the end of World War II, he and his wife longed to be back in France, so he went back there. And after World War II is where we will kind of pick up with Marc Chagall. So after he returned, he was still doing tons of paintings, and by this time he was world-renowned. Everyone around the world knew him. And so that's kind of cool, but he was very shy, so he didn't care for the fame too much. But he started to expand the types of art that he did, and he started exploring stained glass windows. He was in France studying all of the Gothic stained glass cathedrals that were there, and started being interested in stained glass windows. So that is a little tidbit about Marc Chagall, and what we'll be doing today is a recreation of a print that he made of a stained glass window that he did for a synagogue. So let's talk about what supplies we'll need, and we'll talk a little bit more about him and our project, and yeah, we'll just get started. So here we go. You will need a white piece of cardstock, watercolor paints, or acrylic paint that you mix with water to thin out, a black crayon, glue, scissors, and pictures of local animals that live around the area that you live in. If you're at Benjamin's Hope, there's a printout of animals that we have in our barn on the art cart. Alright, so the artwork we'll be focusing on today is a painting of a stained glass window of the tribe of Benjamin. So the tribe of Benjamin is biblical. It's one of the 12 tribes that make up Israel. And that's kind of what his stained glass window series was of. It was of the 12 different tribes, and it was for a synagogue. Now, where he grew up was in Russia, and it was before both world wars. And during the time, where he lived was pretty half and half Christian and Jewish, and they lived together in real harmony. So he knows a lot about Christianity too, and a lot of his paintings were also, they'll depict Jesus and have Christian just narratives in them also. So I thought that was kind of cool. But today this is from the Old Testament, and it was for a synagogue. So we're going to take our cardstock paper and we're going to fold it in half. As we can see from this painting here, the shape of this artwork is in kind of a stained glass shape. So it's a tall stained glass window, but then the top is arched. So we're just going to cut an arch starting from the middle top down the side. Smooth that out a little bit. It was a little choppy. Alright, so this should be about the shape that you have. So if we look at this piece of art, we see kind of like a flowery shape in the middle, and that's part of the stained glass. And then around it we see a little village, we see some animals, we see some writing in Hebrew, and those were all things that represented the tribe of Benjamin in the stained glass window. So I thought we could make our own stained glass window representing our tribe. It could be family or friends for you, it could be people that you live with, but I thought I'd even focus mine more on Ben's Hope. So I guess mine would be more on friends. So the first thing we will actually need to use is our black crayon. So it's important that it's a crayon and not a marker, and this is because crayons are made out of wax, and wax acts as a resist. When using water-based paints. So if you're using acrylic paint that's just mixed with some water, that'll be great too. That's no problem. But we also have watercolors that I'll be using. And a resist acts in a way that when you draw on here, the water can't stick to it like it can to just the normal paper. So it'll kind of spread away from the wax, and it won't lay on top of it at all. So we have in this picture of the print of Marc Chagall's work, we can see here that kind of flower shape in the middle. So I think that's the first thing that we should make today, is that flower shape. So I am going to make first a kind of circle in the middle. That's what I've got. It doesn't have to be perfect, as you can see in his. He kind of has a sketchy kind of flair to his artwork. It doesn't look perfect at all, so don't worry about yours being perfect. Around the circle he has kind of like a petal flower shape, so that's what I'll do next. So I'm left with this. Now in the bottom, if you're looking at it, the bottom left-hand corner, over here you can see that he has like a little village down there. I am going to represent Benjamin's Hope on mine. So if you live at Benjamin's Hope, you can choose your house. But I'm going to just draw 6 little houses in that corner as our little village here. I'm also going to draw a barn. You can do this, or you can draw whatever you want here, whatever kind of village you want. So I drew 6 little houses and a barn. I think that represents Benjamin's Hope pretty well. So around his flower, there's also a circle. So I am going to circle around the flower shape. Again, his is not perfect. Don't worry about yours being perfect. And then something I noticed in the middle is there's some Hebrew words. I'm not sure what they say because I can't read Hebrew, but I was just thinking of some words that I think represent Benjamin's hope. And one of those is just dignity. And another one is friendship, so I'm writing those in the middle. Dignity and friendship are in the middle. Now, surrounding the circle and the flower are a bunch of animals. And those are animals that are in the Bible, are referenced when talking about the tribe of Benjamin. So at Benjamin's Hope, I was thinking our little tribe, we have a whole barn of animals. So I did make this worksheet of pictures that I got from supercoloring.com. And they are of all of our barn animals, our alpacas, bunnies, goats, chickens, cats, and peacocks. So if you want to grab that out and you want to cut out these animals, I would say go for it. So that's going to be the next step, is to cut out whatever animals. You don't have to use all of them by any means, but I'd say at least 2. Let's pick out 2 at least that you'd like to use on your project. And we'll cut those out. If you want to also just draw animals on your sheet, if you don't want to use the ones that I brought for you, that's even better. If you want to draw your own animals, that'd be great. I'd love to see those. I think I will draw a bird up top. We do have a lot of barn swallows and just different types of swallows, actually, blue swallows that we have here. And so I think I'll draw one of those myself, and then I'll use 2 of these pictures also for our artwork. All right, so I have my swallow up in the corner, and I am working on cutting out the 2 animals. I might do 3 animals that I'm going to have around, 2 over here, I think, and then 1 up there. And then we'll talk about how to color and paint these. So I'll meet with you guys. I'll meet back up with you guys when we are done cutting out the animals that we have chosen for our artwork. All right, so you should have cut out some animals. I cut out 3 of them. I chose the alpaca, the bunny, and the rooster. And you're going to take a color and paint each one a different color, the whole thing. And you don't have to be inside the lines, just paint the whole thing that color. In Chagall's painting, you can see that he did a similar thing. Each animal is almost its own color. In this painting, he uses a lot of blue as the background, and then the other colors he uses are red, green, and purple. So I'm going to be using red, green, and purple, as well as a little bit of yellow for my animals. So for my bunny, I'm choosing green. I'm going to choose some green here, and here's my bunny. I'm not going to take too much time doing this. Alright, so we've got a green bunny there. I am going to make my alpaca red. Again, you choose whatever colors you'd like. Alright, and then lastly, my chicken, I'm going to make a purple. Alright, so we've got our animals done. Although I did also have a bird up here, so I'm going to make this bird more of a red color. And then down in my village, I'm going to make the village yellow. You can make that, again, any color that you'd like. I'm choosing yellow for mine. I've made my village yellow, but I'm deciding I want to change it up and make my barn red, because our barn is red. Alright, so this is my village. This is what I have so far, as well as my cutout animals. So the next thing to do is we're going to paint the background. Alright, so our next step is going to be filling in kind of the flower section of our stained glass window. So when I look at Chagall's, the center of it is mostly red. There's a little purple in it. I'll probably mimic his a little bit for the sake of this video, but I encourage you to use whatever colors that bring you joy or represent the area around you, think. But I am going to do some like reds and purples, yellows and greens, kind of mimic what he did. And so let's just focus right now on painting our kind of flower area, and then we'll meet back after and talk about what to do from there. Okay, so I've got my stained glass window where I want it for now. The next step for me is going to be covering it in blue. So if you want to choose another color, it's totally fine, but we're going to choose one main color that isn't one of these colors to really cover our stained glass window. So I am going to choose blue because that's what he chose, but again, you can choose your own color. So I'm going to get to covering my whole page, everything that's not already painted, in blue. Alright, so I just finished painting in the background blue. And our last step is really just arranging our animals where we'd like them. So the animals that you cut out and painted, if you did that, we are going to arrange and glue down with our glue on our little painting here. So let's do that. And then the last thing I'm going to do is just take my black crayon and I'm just going to make some drawings in the background. So in Chagall's, he has like a tree, so I'm just going to do a tree back over here. Like that. And I'm going to just do some grass down here. Maybe do some stars in the sky above our house, and just some marks that I'm going to make just for some interest up here. I'm going to do some music notes by my bird because maybe it's singing. All right. So I think I am about done. So I think we can call our artwork, if you're at Benjamin's Hope, the Tribe of Benjamin's Hope. I think this is pretty representative of us here, and yeah, it's just really exciting. I like it a lot. So I hope you enjoy making this. If you're at Benjamin's Hope, I do have these animals printed out. If you're at home, and you want to print out even like squirrels in your backyard, or depending on where you live, animals that are around you, or pets. I did get them all from a website called supercoloring.com. It has a bunch of free coloring pages, and ones that look very realistic. That was a goal of mine. I didn't want it to look like cartoons. I wanted them to look like they could be photos of the animals. So yeah, it was just a great resource, so I recommend it. And I'll be really interested to see how yours turn out. I want to see what you guys choose as far as animals, but also words that you think represent the area around you, and images. So I'm excited to see what you guys make. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about Marc Chagall today, and we will be back again next week with another art in a video. Have a good week, and I'll see you later. Bye.